Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Krusty's Funhouse with me, Mr. Mark Luckable. In the last episode, we carried on through World 4. I think we got up to maybe level 10 or so. As you can see, we unlocked the one down there. Oh, it's Krusty dances. And yeah, it's been a little bit of time since the last episode. Sorry about that, but you know the drill. I'm post-commentating. I'm going to ramble about the Simpsons. So off we go. And actually, before I ramble about what I want to ramble about, let me just give you a quick update on something. Now, this isn't supposed to be like a a news platform for me to just talk about The Simpsons. I mean, it has in a way, but I'm only saying this because it links to what I've mentioned in the past, and that is about Harry Shearer. Harry Shearer is back on the show. That whole thing, I talked about, and it was in the news a lot about him leaving. Nope, it's fine. They've signed a contract, they've done their stuff, they've sorted out money, or whatever they needed to sort out. I think there was some confusion, but yeah, it's all sorted. So no voice actor replacing Mr. Burns and Smithers and Skinner and Ned. No, it's just the same as it was, which I must admit I'm a little bit disappointed about, just a little bit. I know it's kind of a bit selfish, but it's selfish to the people that still watch the show, but I wanted to see how they'd cope with a new voice actor, how they'd cope with a different set of voices. To be honest, it would be. I mean, they try and recreate the voice, I'm sure, but I just wanted to see how it would play out. And nope, same as usual, same as it always has been. So there you go. If you still watch the show regularly, then you won't hear any difference. But and there's also one more thing as well. I haven't really brought this up in the past, but I thought I'd bring it up as a little bit of a sign of respect, and it is Simpsons related. But one of the actors who did quite a few guest star appearances on the show recently passed away, Alex Rocco. I think he's best known for playing someone in The Godfather. I'm not quite sure who, because I haven't seen that film. But Alex Rocco voiced the character of Roger Myers Jr., the guy behind Itchy and Scratchy. Or right, actually his father was, but the guy who carries it on. And he's the guy who's been in quite a few Itchy and Scratchy themed episodes. And yeah, I mean, I can't say too much about him. I don't know about him, and I can't really say much about the character either. But there's one thing that you can say is he has a very distinctive voice, and I think that lended itself well to the character. He kind of got that nasty studio executive characteristic personality down to a T, I think. So yeah, he passed away unfortunately, but I thought I'd just bring that up as a little bit of respect, and it's Simpsons, so why not? But what I do want to talk about today, and I've mentioned this in the past, is the Simpsons singles and songs. Because I was listening to some the other day, I thought, hey, let's give them a listen, and maybe I can talk about them on the Let's Play. And yeah, they're weird, man. So if you don't know, in the early 90s, actually I think it was 1990, the Simpsons released an album called The Simpsons Sings the Blues. Simpsons Sing the Blues. And this was riding high off of Bartmania, and maybe not just Bartmania, just the show in general was massive. And so I've mentioned about all the games that came out in the early 90s, Bart Simpson versus the Space Mutants, Bart Simpson's Nightmare Treehouse thing. There was tons of them, and in the same way there wasn't tons of music, but they jumped at the chance of more merchandise. So loads of games. Let's have an album as well, why not? And so you had Simpsons Sings the Blues, and I listened to some of the songs on there, and you know what? As weird as it is, some of them aren't too bad. Now, some of them are just covers of songs. Like there's one that Homer sings called Born Under a Bad Sign. Really weird to hear Homer singing. And it's like proper singing as well, not the fake singing he does in the show. It's kind of actual singing to be listened to in a song. You've also got, what other ones were there? Oh, I should have wrote these down. There was one by Lisa, God Bless This Child, I think it was. Kind of jazzy one. Anyway, yeah, so they had some covers, but they also had their own songs. And the most famous of them all is Do the Bartman. Obviously, Do the Bartman. And it's famous because of who it was written by. And that is Michael Jackson. So, Michael Jackson was a fan of Bart and a fan of The Simpsons, and that's why he was a guest star on the show itself. He was in Stark Raven Dad, who played the guy who thinks he's Michael Jackson. At the same time, as well as being a guest voice, he wanted to write a #1 hit single for The Simpsons. Apparently that's what he actually said. He said to Matt Groening or whoever was, studio executive at The Simpsons, he said to them, I want to write Bart Simpson a #1. And although it wasn't #1 in America, because I don't think it was released as a single, Do the Bartman was definitely #1, at least here in the UK. I looked that up. It was certified gold over here, and I think it was also in some other places across Europe as well. So yeah, he did write #1, Do the Bartman. If you haven't listened to Do the Bartman, go listen to it, because it is it's good. It's good and it's bad. I don't know what to think of it, to be honest. It is catchy though. You've got to give it to that. It is catchy. Michael Jackson knows how to write, or knew how to write songs, so he knew what he was doing, and it does that job quite well. And the actual music video to it is actually quite interesting, because the animation for it is so... It's rough, don't get me wrong. It's really rough around the edges, but it's really, really kind of smooth. It's so animated, if you get what I mean. It's really, really well drawn, but not necessarily well drawn at each cell. I'm explaining this really badly, but go look it up. It's on YouTube. Do the Bartman. Part of that Bart mania. Everyone was obsessed with Bart, and I'd have loved to have been there. A fly on the wall. Well, maybe not a fly, because I might have been squished, but just alive at the time of the early 90s. I was alive in 1992, but I was a baby, so it doesn't count. If I was alive and aware of my surroundings in 1990, I'd have loved to have seen all this Simpsons crap going on, because I've never grown up with that being the case, with it being that massive, and I'd love to have seen it. So yeah, that massive that Michael Jackson wrote a song for The Simpsons, and it went to #1 across the world. It's crazy. There's also another song on the album. There's one called Deep Deep Trouble, which was actually apparently I didn't realize this at all until I looked it up. Was featured DJ Jazz. Oh no, it was written by DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, Will Smith. I don't know if they're actually in it, but apparently they wrote it, which is pretty neat. I might have to go and re-listen to that. Yeah, Deep Deep Trouble, which isn't as good. The thing with Bart's songs is that it's usually just Nancy Cartwright speaking, because she can't... I don't know if she can sing or not, but she chose not to sing for these ones, so it's mainly just kind of like William Shatner-esque singing, and not singing. They're still good, but they do feature a lot of weird Bart kind of insets, just random phrases that she'll throw in, and it's just like, cool man, and yo, what's happened, dude? There's also one other song I quickly want to mention, that is Look at All Those Idiots, which I think is an original song, which is Mr. Burns and Smithers looking at all of the employees of the power plant. Look at all those idiots. And it's just odd. There's another word for it. It's just odd to hear Burns sing, so Harry Shearer sing, and to himself, because it's Smithers as well. And the song doesn't really flow very well. It's kind of a bit awkward and but I think this was just such a unique thing, the whole album, because I think they've released a few more, but they were mainly just songs from the show, and then you had obviously the Simpsons movie soundtrack, but none were kind of original songs like in this one, and I don't think that ever really happened again. And maybe I'm not actually sure how well the album did. I know the single did very well, to the Bartman, but I'm not sure how the album did as a whole. I'm guessing it was successful, but maybe not, because they didn't really do that again in the history of the show. But yeah, it's something that I used to I missed at first, being a fan of The Simpsons. But if you are a fan of The Simpsons, go and listen to these songs. Go and listen to Simpsons Sing the Blues, because it's just interesting. And that's what I've said before in this Let's Play. It's just finding things about The Simpsons I don't necessarily know and I find interesting. And actually, I think we've reached the end of this Let's Play. And with that, I do believe we've now done World 4. Thank goodness, we're on to just one more world, World 5. And the cheat code is Mendoza! Yes, it's Mendoza. What a weird word to pick. for the cheat code. There you go. We're left with just World 5. There's a lot of levels in that though, so it's probably going to take a while still. A few more episodes yet, but have a quick peek inside. If I stop jumping against a wall. Come on, Joe. Come on. There you go. So the theme changes. And the design doesn't really change too much, except it looks like the floor is covered in slime. I'm not quite sure what that is all about. Anyway, we'll get on with World 5 next episode. Until then, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.